Garfield
Yes,
Park.
sir.
Two very, very new rosters that we have not seen in much capacity anywhere else.
Yeah, this one is a little bit of an unknown, maybe a lot of an unknown, because like you said, Harrison, yeah, we've got two rosters that we just don't know a lot about. We know a lot about some of the players. We've talked about the IGL power of Mr. B on the side of TookTheKids, and we've talked about Bio and Barring a lot on the side of West Garfield, but everyone else coming into this, seeing how they're going to mesh, how they're just going to play as a team, it is completely unknown right now. So as we head into Oregon, a map that everyone knows how to play, it will be curious to see exactly how these teams choose to play this map, what kind of play style they want to show us. In terms of these operator bans, we do have a little bit of a surprise. We've got the Finka ban coming right off the bat from West Garfield. The rest are pretty standard bans, but the Finka is a little bit more unusual.
Yeah, I guess maybe West Garfield saying, hey, TookTheKids is a very new team, with the exception of Tragical and TPA, who, if you don't know, ATK Taha is TPA. We will be referring to him as such. Tragical and TPA are the only returning members from Challenger League, and even then, they were only in for a season. So they're a very new team, and a lot of new teams sometimes fall back on the fraggers and can crutch those LMGs, and Finka is also a very powerful operator on almost every map. She's got great gun, she's got the stimmies, she's got the 2 nades, and a Gon 6. She has an incredible kit, and West Garfield just simply do not want to deal with her. Now, that does leave up every single hard breach, and in banning the Maverick, they also leave up Mira, who, for at least right now, West Garfield will not play. Something that CJ had mentioned as well is, who's going to play hard breach. I talked to Barring on Friday, so yesterday. I don't know why I said Friday. I talked to Barring yesterday, and, we'll see if that changes on their attacking side, but from what he told me, their main hard breacher will actually be Valor.
Okay. On the defensive side, not playing as much of a supportive role, it seems, as Bio's the one on the smoke. You've got Barring on the mute, and Valor will be taking up the Malusi for now, potentially maybe allowed to be a little bit more free on the defensive side, allowed to get a little bit more frag hungry. Same with the likes of both Twist and Snake on the Jaeger and the Mozzie, respectively. But we've got Valor maybe looking to take some fights as he creeps up the main stairs. But right now, because this site is all the way in the basement, it looks like most of the fights are going to happen, at least on these top 2 floors for now. Snake going for a bit of a roam, going all the way up, looking towards Trophy and Master. Suspicious, of course, that there is already a player or 2 making an entry, and he'd be right. You already have Not Nice shooting out the cam, positioning there in Trophy. You already have TPA working his way up Showers Hall as well to see if they can pinch out these roamers early on.
And the way these two teams are playing so far, sure, they haven't really come into contact yet, but they're playing very forward. They're looking for that contact, and they're kind of flirting with danger a little bit, right? Like you saw the player upstairs with the SMG-11 kind of peeking out a little bit, putting pressure on Trophy. Whoever was, I think that was Barring, who was upstairs. And we saw someone by Green Hall too. Or sorry, not Green Hall, by Security Hall, playing with that shotgun, putting pressure on TPA. So it slowed down the attack just a little bit, but I'm sure that TookTheKids are not too pressed. They've still got plenty of time to work their way down the hatches because, Hibana is left up. It's not going to be completely on the Maverick. So already we hear one. I imagine that was over towards E-Box. Security hatch open as well, as is Laundry. So they've got pretty much all the verticality established now. Now all they have to do is try and transition that to wherever they want to go, whether it be towards Tower and Pillar or towards Freezer.
Well, the first step of that transition is getting those nades down and destroying that utility that stands in their way. But they're going to be hampered a little bit by Barring already going for an aggressive swing on the Freezer stairs and claiming his first victim. It's going to be Trist, the first to fall. Not Nice will now have to recover that diffuser and maybe try to retake this Freezer position, already down a man. Stretching your power this thin is not ideal, especially now that Barring is repositioning and is eager to get more kills. He'll claim another one, shutting down Tragical. Same play with the shotgun in hand. Now it is a 3v5. You've got TPA, who's still reluctant to drop down. Mr. B trying to push in from bunker is not going to have any luck in doing that. TPA is also shut down, leaving Not Nice alone. Will take care of Twist. That's one, but needs to find 4 more. Catches a second. foot shot onto Valor will be enough to finish him off, but with a smoke choking him out and no real way to get into this site safely, he's going to find Bio looking right at him and shutting him down without much problem at all. So that's another round, or rather another round. That is the first round that West Garfield are going to be able to secure on the defensive side, but it was a clean round at that. Really good start with the top floor pressure. Just early roam pressure, like you said, Harrison, starting off with a lot of roam, a lot of early fights, and then transitioning that into just a beautiful site hold with Barring taking care of business.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know if you had stopped talking in the middle of that, but my team speak cracked. But I'm back. Woo! But yeah, that was rough from TookTheKids. I mean, they had every single hatch open, and it seemed like they just didn't really know what to do after that. There was no utility dedicated to those freezer stairs, so Barring was able to get a freebie. There was no utility really dedicated over towards tower, so Barring got another freebie. Elbow was not cleared out. Closet was not. I mean, it looked like, despite the roam from West Garfield, not losing any bodies, ended up winning them the round. You know, that was rough. That was a rough first attempt. So hopefully, we see TookTheKids step things up a little bit and not look completely limp going into their next attacks. But we do have a sneaky little repick off of Hibana. Only got one hard breacher in the hands of Mr. B. Trist will now deploy the Nook. Someone we now see twice, actually.
It does mean, of course, that hard breach is limited on the side of TookTheKids. You're now limiting that to just Mr. B, just the Maverick. No secondary hard breach gadgets on anyone either. None of these attackers could even bring one potentially, so they'll have to rely on that breaching torch if they want to get any hard breach done. This is a site that, I'd argue, compared to the others, is less dependent on that hard breach, but if you want to push in trophy, if you want to, oh my lord, Barring. Cutting me off there with just a beautiful SMG-11 headshot. But if you want to push into games and you want to open up that closet wall, you are going to need that hard breach. So we'll have to see if Mr. B can do that later. But we're not going to be able to see Not Nice get any more frags. The triple kill that he was able to get at the last few seconds of that last round will be all he gets for now. Same thing for TPA, who is shut down once again, remaining fragless.
Yeah, well done by Snake on the drop down to try and retreat, now tag teaming with Barring in the basement, curiously enough, again, despite this being a top floor hold. So it looked like TTK were moving in, maybe without the necessary info. They didn't look like they knew that Barring was about to peek. Jaeger swung out and TPA wasn't able to react. And despite not having any info, Trist will still get a nice nade kill into the site. And that is the smoke. So, you know, a decent one, but Tragical will immediately die to top white as Barring rotates back into the bomb site. Downstairs, though, through the floor, Valor will be exposed to Trist. A second kill now for the Nook, but still a one-man disadvantage for this attack, and the shotgun is trying to find more. Barring is hungry for another kill. He'll open up a pretty wide hole in the wall, but the little slit in the barricade at the bottom will net Trist a third. But in the meantime, he will lose his teammate, as well as control of that diffuser in Attic. Twist and Snake now bunching up, knowing that they cannot lose the round if Trist never picks this up. There's even an Aruni gate in his way, so as soon as he walks through this door, there will be a massive sound cue for these defenders. Trist looking to see if there's any opportunity by the games wall, but unfortunately for him, there is none. He is simply going to have to tank the gate, and now Snake and Twist know exactly where he's coming from. He has absolutely no time to hit a rotate, so all they have to do is stare down a very long hallway. In fact, Twist will actually deviate from his teammate, holding the hatch from below instead, but Snake on those sneaky Mav holes, he'll put a couple shots down, but they don't even need to connect. He can simply win this round off of time, but will end up getting the kill anyway. It took a little bit, but Snake will pad his stats, and West Garfield will take their second round in a row.
Well, you mentioned, Harrison, that you got a chance to talk with some of these players, and something I mentioned in that, previous map is that we did get a little bit of insight into how these teams think, into what they're worried about in going into this season. But what surprised me the most when looking at some of those responses was that TTK was one of the most confident teams of the mix in terms of their responses. They really felt good going into this stage. They said they were not going to settle for anything less than a really strong placement by the end of the season. And just 2 rounds in, you know, I'm seeing a couple of problems with that. I'm seeing a couple of problems with this team, and maybe that confidence is a little bit misplaced, at least here on Oregon on the attacking side. Again, we don't need to get too ahead of ourselves, but 2 rounds in, and TTK have not looked like a team that is as composed as we would have expected. It does not look like a team with all that leadership that we talked about that Mr. B has. We're going to have to see them step it up and get a little bit more composed here, because West Garfield is running all over them right now, and they're making it look very easy. A team also trying to work out some kinks, trying to get some more time in together, a team that does not have that many hours playing with one another. This is where TTK, I mean, I think this is where they have one of the strongest chances they're going to have in the next couple of games they've got to take a clean win, to take a clean victory. Of course, the experience with players like Barring is intimidating to go up against, but in terms of sheer fragging power, TTK should be able to compete. 2 rounds in, though, they are falling a little bit short of that mark.
Yeah, and something that CJ had mentioned about the maps as well, right? West Garfield, you know, they've got Biologic. They maybe will lean into some of those complex maps. But I know that Mr. B is no slouch when it comes to the thinking and strat developing as well. I'm surprised he didn't decide to go to one of those more complex maps, because on a map like Oregon, where it's all down to your fundamentals, just looking at these 2 rosters, I would have to assume that West Garfield would be stronger in that department. And at least right now in the first 2 rounds, TookTheKids are paying the price for it, but they will at least very quickly get that jammer off the wall, go ahead and open up behind Metal Box from Split. So within a minute in the round, West Garfield are going to start to feel that site pressure.
Yeah, wall open, and Mr. B looking to take a couple of fights, or at the very least hold the angle to security. He'll send a nade on the follow-up. Bio barely escaping with his life. Now on a sliver of HP and no chance of getting that back. The play here for West Garfield could be try to be sneaky from behind. A combination of both Barring and Snake could pressure Split, could pressure Meeting, but hold on a minute, this bomb is going down, and where's the response? The C4 in Bio's pocket will stay in his pocket. Looks like, actually, it was Barring to get a kill, but yeah, what just happened? Valor gets one, Trist answers, but okay, that's the round. A beautiful retake there, I guess. West Garfield's sneaky play from behind ended up working. Despite Bio sitting in security, not moving, it was the play from Barring and Snake from behind that changed the course of the entire round.
Yeah, not only that, but Valor also in sight, getting a frag of his own. So that was a little confusing, a little hard to follow after that execute. It seemed like TookTheKids, they got the bomb down, and then all simultaneously tried to move back into their post-plant positions. And while they were so focused on not only covering the plant, but then moving back, they were susceptible to that flank from Barring and Snake, as well as Valor peeking out and getting a kill of his own. So that was I guess, really good retake, good coordination from West Garfield to get all of those kills at the exact same time. And maybe TookTheKids went for a play that they didn't have the necessary map control for. But now, we finally see Mira being brought out on perhaps her strongest site. Mira is very good here for holding onto Closet. It makes Laundry near unplayable unless you're able to open up that Mira. Near unplayable for the attackers, that is. And the second one can go in a lot of places. It could go watching Freezer, could go watching Elbow. Sometimes teams even put it in E-Box. Sometimes people put it on that supply single wall, watching Tower. And judging by the position of the reinforcements, maybe E-Box?
Has yet to put one down. First one might go down now. Likely just waiting, though, to see where this attack is coming from. Maybe can stop it more head on, but we generally see a couple of default positions for those mirrors, and they don't deviate that much. Really, the only change is, do you want to put one in Freezer, in Laundry, or over by the bunker run-in? And it looks like we've got our answer. We've got 2 mirror windows facing the same direction. One facing, I guess, into Freezer from Laundry, and the other facing into Laundry from the closet. So they've got a couple of options here and a lot of different intel to use on the site, but off-site intel is limited, but off-site players, in terms of the defensive side, is also limited as well. We are not seeing a roam. We are seeing barely any aggression at all. Compared to the last defensive round from West Garfield on this basement site, this is a marked difference, and the result of that is that TTK are able to just sprint into the first floor, take this control very, very quickly.
Although, to be fair, in the previous round, West Garfield did allow TookTheKids to get that plant down before retaking. So, hey, maybe they're looking for a retake strategy here, or maybe they are just biding their time and waiting. But Twizzed, playing an off angle, will get caught out by Mr. Not Nice. So, good opening frag for TookTheKids. In fact, their first successful opening engagement in the entire match thus far. But it does come at a price. Both Not Nice and Tragical down to below 50 HP each. And sure, that's a kill into Freezer, but there is still a mirror window for Biologic to play around. Barring, though, one of the standout performers for West Garfield will be the next to fall. Not Nice lines up a double kill, and this is looking like TookTheKids' best round thus far. Snake whiffing on TPA. That could have been a kill that helps turn the round on its head, but Biologic gets 2 before he's traded. But Valor now stuck in a 1v3. Good shot onto Trist, but Mr. B's getting that plant down, and Valor does not have a C4 at his disposal. Tragical, he has a bit of a long angle over the bomb chassis. He'll start letting that LMG sing, and Valor cannot outduel him just yet. As the Zofia picks, it will be more missed shots from this Mira, as Mr. B, he'll start to wrap around by elbow, trying to catch the Mira off guard, but he ends up not needing it. It's just Tragical to finish off that kill, outdueling the Vector with the superior mag size. And TookTheKids take their first point.
A little surprised that we didn't see West Garfield go for any roam, at all. We didn't see even the slightest degree of one, not even somebody upstairs shooting a couple of drones and then falling back. It's because that strategy worked so well in that first defensive round. That only adds to my surprise. And I think that surprise is warranted given how different the result was as well. With West Garfield sitting down on the site waiting for TTK to make that move, TTK were able to do it perfectly. It was a nade kill. Then it was they had somebody in the right place to just swing down into Freezer and take care of the player holding that angle. They had really good intel on that attacking side, I'd argue in a large part because their drone economy was flourishing. They had so much time, so much drones, so many drones to utilize. They had a lot going for them compared to the last round where they were stretched for time, stretched for utility, stretched for intel. Interesting to see the adjustment from West Garfield, but I'm not shocked to see it play out in the way that it did, given the strategy that was working so well for West Garfield and the changes they decided to make. But they are not going to make that same mistake twice. They're going to go back to the same bomb site again and look to make some adjustments here. We do see at least one defender off-site.
Yeah, I feel as if a lot of that round 2 was down to just a few missed shots from certain players on West Garfield that, hey, if they just move their crosshair a little bit more precisely, then it's a different round. We'll have to see. TookTheKids still, once again, setting up for a very similar style attack, going ahead, opening the hatches, working this top-down clear, knowing that there are no roamers to speak of. We saw Barring kind of in tower earlier, but I think he has, judging by the silhouettes, he has since fallen back to down the tower stairs. His TPA just makes it a little bit more rotatable for him and his team. I imagine, though, with all the Hibana's utility being dedicated to these hatches, and TookTheKids choosing to completely ignore Laundry because of that Mira last time, West Garfield probably expect a similar thing and will be facing more guns in the direction of Bunker.
Well, TPA and Tragical now both facing the tower side of things as they look to be eager to clear down into Pillar. Something that we did see them do last time, but now maybe a little bit more wary of the position of those Vulcan canisters from the Goyo. Not something that we mentioned last time, but something that Snake is going to be bringing out again. Those Vulcan shields no longer exist. The Goyo change that happened in the recent patch, but now with those canisters, that area denial is essentially doubled, and the length of time is also essentially doubled. It's not going to stop, though, TTK from getting the first kill. The nade will catch Twist in addition to blowing up those canisters that I mentioned outside E-Box, and actually one of them inside the site and over in the long hall as well. So a lot of those being dealt with early Good use of utility so far from TTK, and now, right on the follow-up, they're just going to push in. Trist takes down Barring, Snake gets the trade, but here comes TPA, and West Garfield were just not prepared for that at all. Trist on the coverage, takes down Valor on the swing, and it is going to be all up to Snake now in a 1v2 from above. With 50 seconds still remaining, TTK have made a lot of progress and certainly caught West Garfield off guard here. Snake, though, drops down, and Mr. B is planting open and exposed. Now it's a 1v1, and Tragical still has to get this bomb down.
I don't understand the plant spot from Mr. B, especially with Tragical rotating all the way away, not able to cover, but the C4 will go wide, and Tragical is looking for the fight around the doorway. Snake simply looks the wrong way, chooses the wrong angle to hold, and TookTheKids win their second round in a row, but it was not a pretty one. At that. There were a lot of very questionable things from both sides, especially with West Garfield Park opting to get kind of active in tower. I really took the kids, early use of that utility, because those Goyo canisters last, what, like 20 seconds? It is a long-ass time. So being able to burn those significantly early on means that their progress later in the round is not impeded whatsoever. They go in, they get a lot of their frags down to just unknown positioning. With one, coming from Freezer, that was TPA, able to get one kill before he was refragged. The Hibana of Trist simply walking in through bunker, not being held at all, able to kill Barring. Snake's position on the hatch did look like it, it may have been a round winner, but after getting one kill, TTK backing way off into Laundry was definitely the right decision. Now, what I expected to happen was for Mr. B to, plant either, by the washing machine, in cubby by the rotate, or right next to the reinforced wall, and, just play off of the sound cue, because if Snake drops the hatch, it's going to be pretty loud, which he did. But he ended up planting just out in the open next to the bomb chassis in Laundry, and Tragical had rotated over to, it looks like he was trying to establish an angle into supply, which wouldn't have really covered Mr. B anyway. So that whole last 2v1 was odd. And luckily for TookTheKids, Tragical was able to just win it out anyway, because Snake looked the wrong way. And now we move on to round number 6, where it's actually entirely possible for TookTheKids to tie us up.
Yeah, off to such a troubling start, but, they have bounced back. 2 successful attacking wins down below in the basement have propelled them into a really good spot. Win this round or not, they would have done their job. They would have gotten the 2 rounds that they would really need on the attacking side to be able to move into that defensive side with all the confidence in the world. And we know how these players can thrive when they're feeling comfortable, when they're feeling good, and they have that confidence and that momentum on their side here. But you've got some players, a little bit more of a roam this time for West Garfield, that are looking to put a stop to that, looking to stop the bleeding, get another defensive round under their belt, and move forward with some confidence of their own. You have Snake down below trying to avoid getting caught out early by the attackers, and you've got Valor, who's actually the first one to find the scoreboard in this round. Tragical will be first picked, and that Zofia utility, valuable Zofia utility, and that LMG will not be a factor here, but TPA says, you know what, I want to kill back. I want to get that trade, so he just swings in the trophy door and gets one pretty easily.
It was a beautiful pre-fire, and Not Nice will follow it up onto Twist, who I believe was playing in Kids, so it wasn't originally a solo fast play up white that didn't work, ends up being a double up that the defense did not expect, but Snake, another great pre-fire, lands on the head of Not Nice. Mr. B with a refrag to still keep the man advantage in his team's favor, and look, both the last 2 defenders are downstairs. One will try and come up white. That's Snake with Barring wrapping around, missing that C4, and now looks like rejoining his teammate. So both defenders going to attempt to come up the white stairs. That is quite the tight bottleneck. In comes one swing. Barring goes down. The next might be soon to follow. Snake does a lot of good damage to TPA, but in the meantime, Plant is forfeit. It's now post, and time to kill TTK. TookTheKids are going to try and back off. They're holding very passive positions now. Snake has pings on one, but there's a very mean crossfire being held, so as if he tries to act off that info, he will surely be a dead man. All 3 of these players staring in his direction. There is almost no way Snake is getting out of this alive. And as Mr. B plays for 1, TPA has his contact, and thus it's a 3-3 split.
Yeah, I don't love the decision there to both walk up the white stairs through the same choke point in an attempt to retake. In their defense, it would have been a brutal retake regardless. At that point, when you are two defenders stuck down below, when the attackers have full control of the site above, essentially of the entire top floor, yes, no matter what staircase you come up or how you get back to the second floor, it is going to be brutal. But at the very least, I would have loved to see somebody rotate around towards the main stairs and try to sneak around through Trophy and from behind. It would have at the very least given you two angles for the attackers to have to focus on. 3 players could not have been just staring at the same doorway to get the 2 kills that were just handed to them on a silver platter. But yes, it was a tough situation either way. That was just not the best retake attempt whatsoever. So after an abysmal start, TookTheKids have not only made a comeback, but they have essentially won the attacking half by securing 3 rounds back to back to back. Now they could theoretically just play out Oregon like it traditionally does with a 4-2 defensive split, and there you have it. They would take the map.
Well, West Garfield did put up a great fight on their attack, considering the score, you could say they won the half. But on the flip side, it's been 3 round streaks from both teams, and currently the momentum is in TTK's favor. So we'll see how much of a factor that has to do with it. They will instantly bring that mirror. TPA will don her. We also see a Cade, which was surprisingly absent from all of West Garfield's defenses despite the Thatcher ban. So not really feeling the need to put pressure on the Maverick, I guess. Not like TTK are currently doing. But similarly to the West Garfield defenses, no roam. None whatsoever. They are all sitting on the site comfortably, simply waiting for the attackers to make their move, but with actually the exact same mirror setup.
And playing off those mirrors now are 2 different defenders. You've got both Not Nice and Mr. B holding those angles. Up above, you've got this attack that is just looking to get every possible angle open. Nothing too out of the ordinary on the attacking side in terms of where they're starting, but
wow,
the early pressure down below and a great shot from Snake, I think that is enough to catch TookTheKids off guard just a hair. Losing a player early, losing Mr. B, who is holding that angle, it now means that somebody else is going to have to take up that position. It's going to be TPA, who's now going to relocate and hold this closet mirror. Not Nice also focused on that direction. Both players worried that a push could come down those freezer stairs at any moment, but right now, West Garfield are still just opening up hatches and still making slow progress. What Snake is doing, though, really important work, just applying enough pressure to make those defenders down below a little bit worried.
Yeah, Mr. B being lost early, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it is one of your Mira players, so you're going to have to rotate someone else to take up that position, and it's a C4 off the board. You've only got one left in the pocket of TPA, who is still playing behind more Mira windows. As Tragical goes 1 for 1, he'll be instantly traded off. The man advantage still in the favor of West Garfield by 1 man. TPA, though, kind of darting in and out of this double door, keeping pressure on the tower stairs, ensuring it's not a safe walk down for the Sledge of Twist, but as the attack starts to gather info, they'll flash out and drop. Valor is searching for this kill, but the mirror won't expose herself just yet. Instead, it's Snake to find her, and Trist, inside of elbow, might be in for a rude awakening if he tries to rotate back, but actually it's Not Nice with 2 over towards Freezer. He can't land the 3rd, though, leaving Trist in the 1 versus 2 as the plant goes down. Smoke now wrapping around by E-Box. He'll send a pre-fire Valor's way, but now the attackers know exactly where he is, and Snake is going to get aggressive, starting to peek in. He's low HP. This could be an opportunity for Trist, but the Iana will quickly back off. Now Trist needs to go searching, needs to go hunting for both of these kills, and that can waste so much time. He'll start to try and bait the defuse. Only 4 seconds left on it. In comes Snake, but it's actually Valor to swing and get the kill. Both attackers ready to pounce on the smoke, and West Garfield Park will win the first attack.
Well, they will stop the bleeding and halt the momentum that TookTheKids had built up. Like you said, a very streaky game so far. 3 rounds to one side, 3 rounds to TookTheKids, and now West Garfield say, you know what? We want that momentum back. No more of this ridiculous run. We are going to stop it. And they did. A very nice attack from them on the basement, but Snake, you've got to give it up to him. And not only the amount of fragging power he's able to just show us, but the amount of space he's able to just take so early in the round. I mean, I know that Connor and CJ love to give out the Space Maker Award at the end of a CL stage, but that is a good phrase for fraggers, right? A good phrase for entries. They're not just walking in the map to get kills, they're walking in the map to get you that control. And by pressuring Freezer as early in the round as Snake was able to do just then, basically froze the defense in place. It allowed the rest of the team to build that pressure from elsewhere. They didn't have to worry about somebody sneaking up the tower stairs, sneaking up the main stairs, and going for a flank. Unimpeded, West Garfield could open that E-box hatch, begin to establish the pillar's pressure, because TTK were constantly worried that at any time Snake could just swing in and, light up their world, which he was eventually able to do. 11 kills so far for Snake, a player to keep an eye out for the remainder of this stage, but putting up crazy numbers tonight for sure.
Yeah, and I really thought Not Nice was about to make the play too with that double kill, but he just couldn't connect that last shot on a Snake to put him down, and ended up probably losing them. I mean, I'm not blaming Not Nice. I'm just saying that, Snake still being alive was certainly a big help for West Garfield. Now they have to attack into the top floor, and we saw a slight switch. Valor off the Hibana and barring off the Maverick onto Twitch, giving him a little bit more fragging capability. He's got those shock drones. West Garfield probably figuring, hey, it's top floor, not as reliant on, you don't need as flexible hard breach, right? You only need one thermite charge for the games wall, one thermite charge for attic, if you so choose. In comes the Flores drones from Biologic. One goes through the drone hole. They are looking for the Electro Claw, but no, Mr. B either shoots it or it touched the wall. I think it touched the wall because I saw it go red. So unfortunately, Electro Claw will not be cleared, at least not yet. They might actually need to have to dedicate nades for it.
Well, the good thing is they've got 4 nades in pocket. You've got Twist and Snake, both with that destructive potential in their arms. But wow, on the defensive side, you've got some destructive potential as well. It's Mr. B, the Kaid we talked about, with a beautiful Nitro Cell to kick off the round. Not Nice on the follow-up, holding that 416 on the Jaeger over on White Stairs, taking care of Snake. So the nades I mentioned are gone. Valor now trying to get the exothermic charge down, but no, Mr. B, a perfect trick. And guess what? Twist is out of nades. No more Rotero drones because Bio is dead. Snake has no nades. No more Twitch drones in Baring's pocket, it looks like. And this is a big problem for West Garfield.
Yeah, no games breach significantly restricts your options, and especially as Baring goes down, you're now down by 3 men. You pretty much have to force Valor and Twist through the same doorway, try and play some sort of trade or hero play, and hope the round goes your way. In come the flashes, but Trist and Mr. B both get a kill each, and TTK take their next defense flawlessly, evening the score up once again.
Yeah, that's a hell of a way to bounce back from the earlier round that West Garfield were able to take over in the basement on their attack. And yeah, we're all tied up at 4. This is turning into quite a game here. A battle of these. It's hard to describe, what that key component is for both of these teams, because Harrison, it's felt like it's been changing. Between a couple of these rounds. Sometimes it is the early round pressure applied by one team or another. In this case, it was some of that, but it was also TTK just sitting in some unknown positions, sitting on the White Stairs, sitting on the Freezer Stairs, positioned over in games, and just playing a utility game that West Garfield just could not counter. We saw so much of that attack focus be on that game's wall and opening up that wall and getting that breach ready to go, getting the site pressure going, and they just could never get that started. All the credit to really good work from Mr. B. Great use of that Nitro Cell, of those Electro Claws, and just of the way he played that. Just textbook. And the use, despite having those 4 nades, having those Rotero drones, and those Twitch drones, one Electro Claw was able to persist, and the round was basically put into a really tough spot for West Garfield because of it.
Ooh, interesting Cade Claw. Early nade pressure as well will deal slight damage to Trist. We got the Mira windows once again for TPA, which I assume will be in the same or similar spots, watching Freezer and inside the Mira closet. And West Garfield are starting out their attack the exact same, top floor clear, or not even top floor clear, middle floor clear, because they've already droned the top floor, and they know that there is no one roaming. Once again, both teams staying rather static on their laundry defenses, with the exception of round number 1. And given how these two teams have been playing so far, it definitely makes sense. There have been, The win factors have been different with each round, but I feel like the most consistent one so far has been just big hero plays.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we talked about Snake. We've talked about, not nice in the play. He was almost able to make. There have been a couple of those moments where it is one player stepping up and trying to lead the team, or being able to successfully lead the team to a round win or two. Both of these teams would definitely like to change up that pattern. It's not a very sustainable way of winning round after round. But for two teams that are pretty young and aren't that experienced with working together, it is a kind of play style that you see emerge from time to time. That the communication, the coordination, it's not always enough to put you over the edge. But that's the kind of round that TTK are going to force West Garfield to play at this point. You can see how static, like you said, Harrison, how static they are trying to play right now, sitting back and just waiting. West Garfield, despite having easy access to those top two floors, I mean, they've still taken 2 minutes to start to work their utility into this basement site and actually deal with some of those defensive positions and some of that defensive utility. One of those positions, of course, is bunker. That's going to be vital to secure. Snake trying to make his play through freezer once again, but this time it is shut down quickly.
I really thought that mirror window was going to be a round changer being opened up by Bio. He's had wonderful Twitch play so far, but it ends up working in the defense's favor. The kills, though, traded back in spades by the attack. Twist, who has been silent thus far, gets a triple kill, and Bio, hitting laundry late, ends up getting the final kill. That mirror window open as well. The main bastion the defenders were leaning on, being those black mirrors, ripped out from under them, and although it worked out for one kill, with nice on to Snake, the opposite side of the map came into play. West Garfield barrel their way in. Twist gets a triple kill, and once again, a standout player. In fact, I would say two. Twist with the kills, Bio with the utility. Two standout players in that round give West Garfield the lead once again.
And we talked about the importance of that utility and the problems West Garfield had with that on dorms. I mean, not even apparent at all on the basement site. That was very good work dealing with those mirror windows. It is not easy to take care of those black mirror positions when there is no way of dealing with that vertically. There's almost no soft destruction capabilities when you're trying to approach the basement site. You can open a hatch, yes, but other than that, you are out of luck. To be able to sneak those Twitch drones in, to get those nades in position and force those defenders not only off those mirror windows, but to just destroy those mirror windows entirely, very good stuff from West Garfield. And that's the kind of game we need to see from them again here on this meeting defense if they want to put this over the edge and be the first team to have that match point opportunity and to have that chance to put them over the edge here. Because they've had those struggles, but when they've dealt with them early, when they've focused on dealing with that utility or fixing the problem from the last round, that is where we've seen them have a lot of success.
And the operator selection now from West Garfield, interesting as well. We're finally seeing Ace being brought from Valor, deciding that, with those Cade Electro Claw tricks, the Ace gives you a little bit more flexibility, but, I mean, the Cade still covers both walls. But this isn't a top floor defense, it's just a top floor clear. So I doubt there's going to be much on those walls, probably just one of those mute jammers. We also have Biologic now on the Zofia, barring opting to don that Ash. So we've got 3 entries on the team right now, and nade goes the ways of Z, and Not Nice eats it. He doesn't die, just eats a lot of damage and trades some back onto Twist. In the meantime, there's still a top floor clear going on, spearheaded by Bio. 2 more attackers coming from the small tower shower hall side of things. They'll spot Tragical, the Malusi, inside of Kids. He's got some support. I think that's from Attic and Small and Big Tower, but TPA will be droned out as well. So a lot of really good info gathering for West Garfield as they try to decide how exactly they want to get these 2 players out.
Just to confirm, you're not going deaf. The sound is muted once again here. We've got a little bit of that classic can't hear them shoot sound bug, but that will not impede these teams as they should on their end be able to hear each other. And that is likely what's going to happen now. They're going to have to start to actually send some of those bullets that they can hear downrange, because Tragical is still alive, still tucked in this corner in Kids, yet to be forced out. Bio isn't sure of his exact location. Tragical, though, is not able to take advantage. He'll drop away and survive, though. So we're still going to be in an even 5v5 with Only about 60 seconds to play in this round. Vertical control, though, has been secured for West Garfield, and they can begin pressuring this kitchen site from above. These defenders down below are going to need to reposition, likely have to move over to meeting, reposition into dining, because this site is no longer safe. Both Not Nice and Mr. B will play on this deployable shield in meeting and be backed off. Right now, though, West Garfield, they're going to begin the transition into this execute, and here come the frags. Barring and Twist get one. Tragical answers, though, we're in a 3v4.
And a 2v4 now as Mr. B finds another, but TPA is, or actually 2v3 as TPA is refragged by a Claymore. Valor kind of getting that plant down, covered by Snake. The Iana dealing a lot of damage and finishing off Mr. B. Leaves Tragical, the only thing standing between West Garfield and match point. He's got to kill 3 people. There's one. Looking for 2 more, might get a spot onto Snake, but will evade him just for now and notices the punch hole. A little too late, he had already hit that sprint key, couldn't bring his gun up in time, and Snake will finish him off. He has been a star player for West Garfield thus far, and that really good execute will give West Garfield the first taste of match point.
Yeah, strong transition as well between that vertical control and the actual site push. This is something that we like to talk about every once in a while with a team that is able to secure control of whatever part of the map they need to actually get that execute started, but then they fail to make a clean transition. They lose bodies. They take too long to actually go for that execute. It's something we see a lot, especially, at this level, with transitioning, especially in these younger teams from T3 to T2. But West Garfield, they've clearly got the experience, and they showed us that by just how fast they were able to take the control they had secured and turn it into a very effective site push. They didn't have one particular element like the Ying that we might see now from Valor that would enable them to do so. They just went through it in the good old-fashioned way. You had the vertical control, you get some pressure over in dining, you push those meeting players back, you take control of security, and then you get the bomb down. It was very well played from them. They've earned match point now, holding this 2-round lead, and like I said, potentially seeing the Ying. Yes, now the Ying confirmed from Valor. We may be seeing another aggressive execute coming in from West Garfield on the Dorms site that gave them some trouble last time.
Where to play a Ying on this site? There's a lot of different spots you can do. The most common being a big window play, or throwing them, through the kids window and blinding everyone there to make way for a big window and jump in. But we'll have to see where West Garfield end up putting her, because she can find her. She can be effective pretty much anywhere on Dorms, no matter where you're pushing. But in comes one attacker, and Not Nice is completely unaware. Twist simply walks into dining. He will get refragged by TPA, but still you lose Not Nice, your top fragger, as TPA looks for a second onto the Maverick. He'll light up Barring, but that low ammo count of the Roni, TPA is certainly cursing that as he falls too.
A lot of early action here. We're only 60 seconds in. 3 players already dealt with, and there may be a 4th in just a moment. It's Mr. B, the next in the line of sight, because Barring could pop this attic wall open or at least get a hole or 2. And Mr. B is sitting right on the other side. He'll see the breaching torch come in, though, and he will reposition, backing off into pit, and he is narrowly able to escape before Bio actually goes for the swing. Bio not looking to play this one aggressively, likely hoping to use those 4 Rotero drones to clear out pit instead of doing it the manual way. With 90 seconds to go, West Garfield, they are sitting pretty. They've got a man advantage. They're building pressure on the attic side. They're building pressure from below, and with a perfect nade on cue, the pressure from downstairs, very effective in dealing with those site players. It's a 2v4. TookTheKids hoping to survive a little bit longer in this best of 1, but Snake not looking good for them because he takes the head of Mr. B. It's all up to Tragical, who's able to get 1 trade, but now he is all alone. Both Barring and Bio pushing straight at him, nearly blinded by the Candelas, but still able to get 1 more. He's a 1v2 on low HP. Valor with this diffuser in hand, though. He'll go for the plant, but here comes Tragical. Wait a second. Now it's a 1v1. Tragical has 3 kills. Bio has to go in on the rappel. Very vulnerable right now, blinding himself. Tragical sneaking around the other side, and he is able to get it done. There's a quad kill and a nice 1v4 clutch to close it out.
All right, first of all, Tragical. I remember, very long time ago, at the beginning of CL. Well, not the beginning of CL, but the beginning of, you know, this kind of format of CL. Someone on the analyst desk, I don't remember who it was, said that Tragical has some of the nastiest aim that they've ever seen. Sure, he can be a bit dumb sometimes, you know. We all know Tragical. But he can step up when he needs to. And he, and I think it was him and Twizzler, were the two standout players from Smoke Break. And Tragical has always been one of the star players for any team he's on. And he just went from 5-7 to 9-7, winning a 1v4. That's sure incredible work from Tragical. But I don't think West Garfield could have played that worse. I'm not going to lie. So first, Snake freaking dumpsters Mr. B. I mean, that was incredible. West Garfield had a near flawless setup to that round. But Tragical gets the refrag. Perfectly understandable. Whatever. Snake dies. 3v1. Barring decides to move down Attic alone. You have Barring and Attic, Valor and Big Window, Biologic, I think, mid-rotate to the kids window. Barring gets caught shooting a Malusi, gets off, tries to take the fight, and dies. Then Valor jumps in to get the plant down off the cover of his Candelas, but Biologic isn't set up on the window yet, and those smokes perfectly cut off the window player's line of sight. What is the point of having Biologic repel there if he can't see... I almost swore. If he can't see anything? You might as well have him swing in and then go for the plant, or have him double up with you on Big Window. That separation and that smoke grenade won the round for the defense. And that just goes to show when you're cutting off lines of sight, you know, Caster once said, holes work both ways. So do walls.
Well, as demoralizing as that may be for West Garfield, they still have a chance. They still are on match point, and then they could theoretically have the cushion of overtime if they let it get there. But right now, they've only taken a minute, and they've cleared out the majority of these top two floors. All 5 defenders are once again playing a pretty passive game. They are all sitting, actually unmoving, on the site below. We do see a little movement from Tragical over by the pillar side of things as he is wary of some pressure from there. But West Garfield right now, they are just doing their due diligence, opening up these hatches. Snake, he's, of course, got to go down into Freezer, a position he has been very successful with in the past. You do have somebody looking to contest that angle, and you've got a BP set up for this position, so Snake cannot take this position for free any longer.
That's not going to stop him, though, from trying to walk down the stairs as Not Nice has begun to back off. And there's no mirror window for this Iana to worry about any longer. I guess after the Twitch was brought, despite West Garfield not bringing her this round, TTK are just done with those mirror windows. They would rather bring the extra shield in the pocket of that alibi, as well as the MX4 Storm. Arguably, again, I say arguably, a more potent weapon than the Vector. I know there's an argument to be had there, but it's got more ammo in the mag and a similar fire rate, so whatever. Snake is still just posted on Overwatch, stopping Not Nice from cutting anyone off as the hatch has been opened, and West Garfield are now figuring out which direction do we want to go in. The fact that Biologic is prone right by the laundry hatch and Valor is now descending the staircase makes me think this is going to be a full front side push, as Valor is the one carrying the case, but you'll very quickly rotate back off and completely shift the push to bunker. I'm not quite sure why the call was made, maybe seeing the smokes position of Triss and the fact that elbow is full reinforced. The attack sees an opportunity, but they're going to have to go for it soon. 20 seconds left, and the first death will actually be Tragical as Twist is able to get the flick on him. Quickly traded out by TPA, but Snake is in the sight. He'll be able to blindside the Kate of Mr. B, and a second on the Trist. This could be where the match ends. It's all up to Not Nice and TPA in a 2 versus 3. Plant going down by Biologic under the cover of those Candelas. TPA just needs to peek and he'll deny it! Tower, pillar completely being left alone by this attack as Valor was practically being sat on top of by whoever was with him. And for the second round in a row, TookTheKids are going to take the round.
That is unreal. That is unbelievable. That round was won. It was over. West Garfield had won the map. Just kidding. They didn't know where that last player was hiding. Unbelievable how they're able to let that one slip away. That is 2 rounds in a row where they have looked so good, and then it all crumbles to pieces. At the very least, they've got some attacking momentum, so they won't be too panicked about what's about to happen in overtime. But I'd be a little concerned at the troubling pattern that is emerging here. I mean, I'll compliment them for a moment. The fact that they were able to take that much control, that last second pivot over to bunker was extremely smart. Because TTK had no idea what was coming. They were not in the right position. Snake was able to surprise them once everyone turned and focused on the backside. But just like TookTheKids were perplexed at where that attack was coming from, West Garfield seemed equally perplexed at where those remaining defenders were positioned. It's a tremendous oversight, and I have no idea how the alibi went unnoticed. But that is a big old problem for West Garfield, and that is 2 match points in a row that they have botched.
Yeah, second in a row that they lose to someone someone they didn't know. And I wonder, I have to beg the question, Jonah. I didn't see it amongst all the chaos, but I have to beg the question, was there a smoke involved that allowed TPA to slip back?
Oh man, please no.
Well, we'll have to see that on the replay, once we go back and watch the game. Or maybe someone in check. But either way, West Garfield have fumbled the bag twice. We now see ourselves in overtime. TTK get defense, and boy, would it be a mental chalker if West Garfield end up losing the map off.
I mean, that would be brutal. I mean, they're already mentally painful enough, but if it impacts the overall loss, I mean, oh boy.
I don't think they know about
Yeah, this could be a problem early. There is, I mean, clearly Valor is being quite tentative with how he pushes this, but he's not looking the right way. Looking to the left side of the angle when Mr. B is on the right. And at any moment, all Mr. B has to do is step up and swing. It might be his time now that Barring claimed to kill onto Not Nice. And TTK realized that maybe this defense is crumbling just a little. But no, Mr. B still in the corner. Valor just going to give up on that angle, and it looks like he'll work his way up elsewhere. Snake will now join the pressure being applied from Barring over on the bottom of White Stairs, but as they look to build this pressure all over this top floor, you can see that TTK, they're getting uncomfortable, scrambling around, but he didn't see the player in showers! Snake was sitting there on his drone, and TPA missed it! Oh my goodness, talk about mental chalkers, TTK, now it's them falling apart.
2 men down. Could have been even. Could have been just a 1-man disadvantage, but TPA not looking the right way and not connecting with his shots. Trist peeks on the window. He'll drop Diffuser, but only after Valor gets a kill. Mr. B will drop Bio and Attic, though. Down to a 2v3. Barring very lit up. Mr. B and Trist still decently healthy, especially with a C4 and 2 gas canisters in pocket. And Jonah, for the 3rd round in a row, I must beg for your attention on the clock. Barring does get one onto Trist. Mr. B's in a 1 versus 3. The nade could have his name on it, though. Here it comes, and wow! Barring the 2 final kills, both with frag grenades, it was getting into such scary territory with that clock. But he gets 2 freebies and secures match point for West Garfield once again.
Yeah, that was getting spooky. That was that 2v3. You had 1 player on pretty low health. You had the time ticking away. It felt much like the last 2 rounds have. And 2 rounds that West Garfield have managed to lose somehow. But this time, winning it by just not even showing their faces on the site. I like that change. You can't risk losing a 1v4 if you don't even take gunfights. If you just go for the frag grenades down below, you'll be fine. It was a 2v3 this time, or 3v2, not a 4v1, but you get the idea. Same concept. Good work there from Barring. That was a triple kill from him, I think. 2 with the nades, and then 1 just, working his way up the White Stairs very early on, stepping up in a big way here, and at the most important time to do so. Now that, of course, we are in overtime, and now overtime match point with West Garfield having now a 3rd chance to put this one away.
And you know what's funny? If TPA doesn't whiff on that Nook outside who had no idea he was there, because that was a whiff. I mean, he would have been instantly traded by Snake, but let's all be honest, that was a whiff. If TPA doesn't whiff there, those nades are gone. And you end up in a 2v2. There's a main count. So, that's been kind of a reoccurring theme, right? Missed shots causing a lost round. Hero plays, 1 player really stepping up in the last round we just saw. It was a whiff from TPA and a 3K from Barring. That's been a very common theme throughout the entirety of this match. I mean, sure, there have been a couple rounds here and there where it's come down to, very incredible utility play and such, but it's been a bit of a rarity. Snake will miss out on the drone. Not sure if it's spotted by a Logic, but he will retreat down to the basement. That's on the site, so I'm sure the attack isn't too worried about that. He actually barricades the door behind him. Now the pressure is really on for TTK, and it seems like that pressure might help them. Barring is the first to die, the man who we just saw step up. The second frag on his team behind Snake at 18 will be the opening pick.
Good start and a very important kill for TookTheKids to kick off this round. They've also narrowly avoided several instances of disaster. Here's another one. Snake dropping down, I believe, or he may have actually just been cut off, preventing him from actually rotating down at all. He was spotted out by the Yana clone, so I imagine he looked to rotate down and away, but you had TPA in position, and goodbye Mozzie. Your 2 top frags for West Garfield, they're gone here. You've lost 2 C4s. You've got the plant denial from Bio, but that is it. And you don't have a lot else going for you. 90 seconds, a lot of drones left, 5 drones. Still ample time, ample utility for TookTheKids to make something happen. They've got a drone on the site, know exactly where Valor is, and Nade is going to do some damage to Twist as he works his way up the gold hall, looking to get hungry and get some kills. But TTK, they're not going to provide those opportunities very often here. Twist just takes the fight head on with Valor, somehow wins it. Twist responds, but then gets murked from the other side by Twist, and it is all up to Bio in a 1v4. He'll work his way through to Laundry. He gets spotted out, though. This is not going to go well in this 2v1 gunfight. Mr. B is the one who wins it after Bio gets the first, and we are headed to round 15, ladies and gentlemen. We need to see all of these rounds to see which of these teams honestly can make fewer mistakes and close it out.
Beautiful stuff from TookTheKids, especially to TPA and Trist. First of all, TPA with the entry, not only killing Barring, but also catching Snake on the drop down, shutting off the 2 top fraggers first and foremost. Now, that's not to say everyone else on West Garfield, Twist, Valor, and Biologic can't frag, but towards the end of that round, it seemed like they got ahead of themselves trying to make a play to bring the man count back, right? Trist was kind of, ducking and dodging over by main stairs, trying to bait out the shots. Eventually, Valor decides to just full court press and push him bottom main and ends up losing the fight. Next, Jaeger gets a brilliant shot, but tries to peek. At that point, someone probably already called, hey, sinks. And Trist lands a very nice headshot from there. Nearly an impossible clutch from Biologic, not with the amount of manpower and time that TTK have. That's the big pushing point. So far, I don't know who's going to take this round, right? I'm not going to call it, but I don't know how confident I am in West Garfield purely because of the timing issues that have plagued them through their last few attacks.
I mean, they were able to take that last one, working arguably with not the best sense of time, but still able to take it nonetheless. They are headed back to what appears to be a basement attack, yes, so timing will definitely be a factor, and considering they ditched the Ying, it means that they're going to have to do this one the old-fashioned way, right? They're not going to have the timing assist that those Candelas and those smokes could theoretically provide. Instead of bringing those out, Bio is going to be going back over to the Twitch, bringing out the F2 and, of course, those Twitch drones. No mirror windows down below, though, for those Twitch drones to find. The utility from TPA is instead going to be focused on those alibi holograms, that deployable shield, and, well, if we're being honest, the MX4 Storm that he's got in his hands that he can just run all over this basement site and just frag out when it comes down to it. Because TTK, they have found a defensive style that works, and that is not an extremely aggressive one. It is a sit back and wait for West Garfield to make a move type strategy, and they're going to be employing that one yet again.
All right, because if West Garfield's biggest issue on these downstairs attacks has been time, why give them those early fights and a chance to bring the man count in their favor before they're pressed for seconds? So I like the strategy from TTK leading into round 15. West Garfield have already burned half the clock, but they have those breaches open, and in comes the Twitch drone to burn away utility. ADS goes down by Chala. He's looking for more. There's no one in closet. He spots out the Jaeger by locker as well. Not Nice is searching for a drone, but there is none for him to find. Bio might drop down the hatch, but he's just going to open up that barricade first. Ebox hatch, curiously enough, has not been opened just yet. We've got a minute left on the board. And West Garfield have just finished opening those hatches, so they don't have a lot of time to establish themselves downstairs before going to this execute. I mean, I know a minute seems like a lot of time, but when it comes to Laundry, a lot of people consider Laundry to be one of the most defender-sided sites in the game. It's really hard to set yourselves up well without one or two opening picks. And right now, it looks like TTK aren't going to give them that opening engagement. They're not going to open that hole that West Garfield are looking for. You can see West Garfield are moving their pieces around on the chessboard. They're repositioning everywhere, but it's Mr. B with the opening frag onto Barring, and that might be what shuts down West Garfield.
Yeah, that's going to hurt. You've lost Barring, that set of nades. Twist does respond and takes down Not Nice, but we're back in a 4v4 here, and West Garfield need to get a move on. Bio caught looking the wrong way. Mr. B claims another. TPA tacks on one more. Mr. B goes for the double, all up to Snake now in a 1v2. 1v3, but B picked up Trist a moment ago. He's got 8 seconds, and Mr. B is not going to allow that to happen. A phenomenal round from the IGL to close things out, and a couple of disastrous rounds from West Garfield result in a brutal win for TookTheKids. They will storm ahead, making a beautiful comeback and staving off 3 separate match points to win it out here 8-7 at the end.
Wow. I mean, I am shocked that this map turned out that way. So many chances for West Garfield Park to close it out, and they simply